Drummers I listen to, the drummers such as Hal Blaines, who played on a lot of sessions, and people like Art Blakey and Buddy Rich, who played very good solo drumming. Right, that was a break for drummer's bladder. When you're playing drums, you get a lot of pressure down here all the time, and you have to make sure you go to the toilet regularly. You know. Anyway, going back to one thing I was just thinking about, semi-quavers. Which are these? These are very common when it comes to drum fills during songs. And I use one in Heart Full of Soul. They're still used a lot. I remember one drummer that influenced me quite a lot in the old days, in the 60s, was Keith Moon, and he used to play a lot of these semi-quaver fills. And they're very effective when you're playing a song. You know, they're really effective. I usually tune the drums to the way they sound good from my ear, but there are different ways of tuning. Snare drum should be pretty tight, particularly the bottom head, pretty tight. Top head can be varied when it comes to recording, but this is pretty tight as well. When you're putting on the snare head, make sure all these notes are the same. Just round on each tuning key. And you can do this, of course, with the snare off. The tom-toms are actually tuned to the notes. Someone told me a good way of tuning them was to the Grieg tune. Da 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 da. That's taking another tom-tom. That's basically sounding pretty good. The bottom head should be tuned at the same pitch as the top one, and then you can use the dampeners. Got a lot of ring on a drum. There's a lot of ring from this snare actually, but you can use the dampener to take away all the ring or to give it a bit more. Depending on where you're playing. These are all Remo heads, which I normally use. They all seem to vary. There's ones with the black spot in, and there's some like this that are completely clear. And then there's lots of different variations of drum heads, and it's up to you really to try what suits you. Bass drum is clear as well. You can't actually see that. And I usually take the front skin off, which gives it a better sound. Also, because I'm playing places where they can put mics inside. I think basically what you need to start off with is a snare drum. I mean, when I started playing years ago, I just played in the Boys Brigade, as I said before, and I had just had a snare. And the snare drum was the first thing that I could play on. And then I gradually built up as I got more and more money. Loads of money. Now, as I got more money, I bought a bass drum, a snare drum and a hi-hat. So I'll put the snare on. I mean, with the bass drum, snare and the hi-hat, you can play basic rhythms. I mean, a kit like this, a whole kit like this is going to cost about £1,000 these days. But I think you could pick up probably second-hand snare drum, second-hand hi-hat, and maybe a second-hand bass drum, you know, maybe for about £100 or something, from which you can start. And if you've got some friends that play bass guitar and lead guitar or keyboards, you can get together and get a band together, which is invaluable experience when you're trying to learn. You've got people to play with, and you can play the songs you like, your favourite songs.